Well, last time you remember, Boris Badenov disguised himself as Santa Claus and started off to deliver a present to Bullwinkle. A present that goes tick-tock.
Until he opens it, then it goes kaboom!
In just a little while, he approached our shivering friends and...
Hello! And ho, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Hokey smoke, Bullwinkle. Look at that.
It's Santa Claus.
He looks a little seedy to me. Look at that beard.
It's molting, darling. Always looks a little scraggly this time of year.
And who are you?
Santa's little helper, Elf.
Elf!
Santa, they don't believe in me.
They don't even believe in me.
Now, wait a itty-bitty minute. Nobody's gonna tell me I don't believe in Santa Claus. Not even Santa Claus himself is gonna tell me that.
That's the spirit, little fellow, and just for that, here is your present, a warm woolly coat to wear.
Gee, dandy.
Merry Christmas, ho, ho, ho.
That ho sounded pretty phony to me.
Yes, that's the first time I ever heard of Santa Claus talking dialect. Oh, come now. Are you trying to destroy a young moose's faith in Christmas?
Oh, for gunny sack.
What is it, Bullwinkle?
What a Yuletide boo-boo.
What is?
We didn't give him a present.
Well, I really don't think he was expecting one.
Makes no never thee minds, Rock. We got to give Santa a present.
Yeah, but we don't have a present to give him.
No, nothing but this one.
Hey, that's it.
That's what I said.
We'll give him this present.
That's what I said.
So with warm hearts and frostbitten fingers, our boys rewrap Boris's present.
This way, Bullwinkle. We'll hit him off at the ice floe.
Do you think he'll mind getting his own present back again?
He may not know it's his.
I guess you're right. If you've seen one warm woolly coat, you've seen them all.
Besides, you already have a warm woolly coat.
True, though it is wearing out a little and the... Oh!
What?
I forgot this is my own personal pelt.
Hey, here he comes, Bullwinkle.
See, Rock, let's just toss it in his sleigh as he goes by. That way it'll be more of a surprise.
Bullwinkle neatly tossed the package into the rear of his motorized sleigh.
What a jolt he'll get when he opens it.
I'll bet.
I'd give a purdy to be there. I sure like surprises.
Well, you're gonna love this then. Look behind you.
Indeed, for our heroes were surrounded by a band of ferocious Ricky-Tickians.
Gee, they're blue with cold, Bullwinkle.
That's because they got no warm woolly coats like you and me, Rock.
True, but it's only a matter of time.
You mean?
You said 'em. Squirrel coat, just the thing for cold weather.
Yeah, but I'm not big enough to make a coat.
Then I make moose coat with squirrel collar. Pretty sporty, huh?
But to do that, you have to skin us.
You got 'em another way?
I knew I should have had a zipper put in.
We gotta stall for time, Bullwinkle, till Captain Peachfuzz and the professor get here.
Well, that shouldn't take long.
How come?
They're right over there.
Captain, you've dealt with South Pacific Islanders before. What'll we do?
Well, the usual thing is to bargain.
Bargain?
Sure, break out the trade goods, do a little swapping.
Swapping?
Yes, you let them wear your glass beads, they let you wear your head.
Sounds like an even trade.
Well, let's start swapping. What's the going price for a moose head?
No want beads, no want mirrors.
Well, what do you want?
Want warm woolly coat.
Oh, careful, that's fastened on to me.
We fix 'em that.
Wait, I got an idea.
What is it, Rocky?
I can't tell you.
What? Why not?
'Cause it's the end of the episode.
You know he's right, but be sure to see the next episode, Fur, Fur Away, or Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow.
Once upon a time, there was a witch named Griselka who chalked up a very enviable record when it came to witchery.
I hereby cast a spell upon you, and henceforth you shall be known as Sleeping Beauty. I hereby I cast a spell upon you, and forevermore you shall remain a frog.
Naturally, when it came time to give out the award for the best witch of the year...
I shall treasure this gold-plated skull the rest of my unnatural life.
Well, sir, Griselka's stock soared sky high after that, and every night was Halloween as far as she was concerned.
Grizz, you're due to fly to London tonight to touch off the year of the plague.
We'll cancel that until Monday. I have to lock a damsel named Rapunzel in a tower. Dancer!
This went on for months, and Griselka was just about the most popular witch of all time. That's when it happened. There she was, concocting a vile brew in a cauldron, when suddenly the door opened, and there stood the most handsome prince in the world.
Ah, fair lady. Could I trouble you for a flagon of water?
That was tantamount to committing hara-kiri.
Instead of water, try a sip of this.
Here's looking at you, sweet damsel. Cheers.
Ah, but witches, too, have hearts. And it was there that Griselka was struck by Cupid's timely arrow.
Don't drink that!
The liquid burned a hole 3 feet deep.
I say, that must be carbonated.
You know, I must have that prince.
But Griselka was so ugly that she could look in a mirror and crack it.
But it's a poisoned apple you're supposed to send to Snow White.
You sure it isn't a poisoned watermelon?
Look, Grizz, yesterday you changed a bat into a bunny rabbit. You better go see a doctor. There's no doubt of it, madam. You have an acute case of amoritis.
Is that anything like the 3-year itch?
Madam, you are in love. L-U-F, love.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, and don't you dare crack on me. How can I win the prince's love?
You must cast a spell on yourself. And now I must go before I crack up.
Of course, the mirror is right. If I change myself into a beautiful princess, the prince will fall in love with me.
This was the biggest job she ever faced. For 2 weeks she boiled wolfbane, mice wings, and gruffy powder in the old reliable cauldron. And finally...
Through the mouth and through the gums. Look out, stomach! Here it comes!
The age-old incantation never failed. Where once there was a witch, stood an enchanting princess.
Well, my son, how are you enjoying the ball?
I'm having a ball, Dad.
I know that, but how are you enjoying it?
But before the prince could answer, his eyes spied what to him was the most beautiful maiden he had ever seen.
You're beautiful, you're lovely, you're engaged to me.
A whirlwind courtship ensued, during which the prince and his inamorata was seen everywhere. Ah, but they were not alone.
I say, sweetheart, have you noticed that broom that seems to follow us wherever we go?
Broom?
There was no mistaking it. This was the very same broom Griselka had ridden on her nightly forays.
Quick, dearest, lock the broom in the cellar.
Even though the request was a strange one, the prince complied. But that night, at the opera...
Now, don't look now, but isn't that the same broom sitting next to you?
Oh, quick, my love, take me home.
Alas, there was no running away from her past. No matter where the princess went, the broom was sure to go.
So, you used to be Griselka the witch, eh?
Oh, yes, Doctor.
Amazing. We wondered where you'd got to. Now, tell me your problem.
And the princess unfolded the bizarre happenings of the past week.
Well, this is all psychological, my dear. You see, that broom...
This broom.
Oh, yes. Anyway, that broom has a dust complex. You see, it's lonely. It misses its former owner. It undoubtedly still thinks that you are a witch.
Well, what can I do, Doctor? What can I do?
Next time, take the train.
The desperate princess returned to the hut where she had once lived as a witch, followed closely by the broom.
Oh, if there was only someone to help me.
There is.
Oh, mirror, mirror on the wall, reflecting all this gloom. How in the world does one get rid of an old but faithful broom?
The answer is simple. Get a gride.
Now, in those days, dustpans weren't called dustpans, they were called grides. And so it was that the princess immediately purchased a small but attractive gride and set it beside the lonesome broom in the broom closet. The rest happened naturally.
And do you, prince, take this princess for your wife?
I do.
Yes, it turned out to be a double wedding ceremony. Not only was there a bride and a groom, but there was also a gride and a broom.
Here's that man with a nose for news, Mr. Know-It-All.
Thanks, Rock. It's also handy for breathing and ornamental purposes. Today, our subject is how to interview a scientist that is working on a secret project. We begin by finding a scientist.
Without a human subject to work on, the experiment is lost. But who would be stupid enough?
Pardon me, sir, but are you a scientist? Point 2 is to be subtle about getting to the subject of his project. If the project is secret, he may be reluctant to tell you. You doing anything interesting lately?
Certainly. Sit right here and I'll tell you all about it.
Let's see. Say, you mind if I ask you about your personal habits, problems, hobbies, and...
Certainly not. I just love to put this electronic ball on mooses' heads. It's a habit, a problem, and a hobby.
Fine. Now what about pets?
I'm glad you asked. My pet. Let's just put him here and put a nice ball on his head just like the one on yours. There.
Oh, yes. Is your current project related to the rocket field?
No.
Is your current project related to the atomic field?
No.
Well, what's the current then? The current. I want the current.
Gosh, Mr. Know-It-All, what happened? Now, how will you remember what the scientist is working on?
Oh, I can remember, Rock. I'm almost certain it is a brain transfer machine.
Greetings, Peabody again. Today's journey back into time reveals the true story behind one of the greatest events in American history.
Gosh, you mean the invention of the hot dog, Mr. Peabody?
Hardly, Sherman. I'm speaking of the discovery of gold in California, so you may set the way back for the year 1848.
And the place?
Sacramento, California, where we will meet John Sutter. Entering the Wayback, we were quickly flung back through time and soon found ourselves in Hop Toys, the place to go for Chinese food in Sacramento.
What are we doing here, Mr. Peabody? I thought you said we were going to meet John Sutter.
Oh, we are. You see, Mr. Sutter eats all of his meals here every day. That's him sitting over there behind that large bowl of lychee nut chop suey. Approaching his table, we introduced ourselves and found him really quite friendly.
Nice to know you. Pull up some soy sauce and set a spell.
You sure must like Chinese food, Mr. Sutter.
Not me. I can't stand it. Makes me sick.
Huh? Then why do you eat here every day?
To get the fortune cookies.
You mean to say you believe those fortunes?
Sure, doesn't everybody? Hey, say now, this here is a dandy. It says I'm going to take a long trip, so I guess I'll go to Mexico for a year or two.
He can't do that, Mr. Peabody. How can he discover gold in California if he's in Mexico?
Come, Sherman, we must stop him. Knowing that we could never talk Sutter out of taking the trip, we did the next best thing by signing on as drivers for the stage company.
All aboard!
Bye, everybody! Bye!
Giddy up. Urging the horses forward, we moved out, but instead of taking a long trip, we simply raced around the block and came to a halt on the exact spot where we had started. Whoa!
End of the line! Everybody out!
See, I do believe that's the shortest long trip I've ever taken.
Hello again, Mr. Sutter.
Hey, what are you doing down here in Mexico?
Oh, this isn't Mexico. You happen to be back in Sacramento again.
Oh, that's right. I did have a round-trip ticket.
Do you suppose he'll go out to his new mill now so they can discover the gold?
We will leave nothing to chance, Sherman. I shall suggest it to him. Quickly returning to Hop Toys, we learned that my suspicion had been correct.
Yes, Mr. Sutter, just here. Read fortune cookie, then run out.
Look, this must be the fortune he read. It says, you will make many new friends today. Gosh, then that means he'll...
I'm afraid so, Sherman. Sutter is out making friends.
Gather round, folks. From now on, all of us is going to be buddies.
Gee whiz, as long as he keeps reading fortune cookies, he'll never get around to discovering gold.
However, as always, I had a plan. Getting Hop Toy's permission to toy with his fortune cookies.
Rats of rock!
Sherman and I adjourned to a back room where we spent the rest of the night loading cookies with a very special fortune. Then, early the next morning, when Mr. Sutter had finished his breakfast of shrimp fried rice...
Hey, listen to this. You will make a great discovery in the creek by your new meal today. I better get over there right away.
That did it, Mr. Peabody. He's on his way at last.
Hurrying off for the mill, we arrived shortly after Mr. Sutter, and coming from the direction of the creek, we heard...
Yahoo! Yippee! Hooray!
Well, we see you made the discovery, eh, Mr. Sutter?
I sure did. Funny I never noticed it before. Now all I got to do is dig me some worms.
Worms?
I'm afraid something has gone amiss. And indeed it had, for following Sutter to the creek, he saw the discovery he had made was that the stream was full of trout.
Best fishing hole I ever seen.
Oh, no! I guess there's just no way to make him discover gold.
But noticing a large tree just above where Sutter was fishing, I was quickly able to put another plan into action. Instructing Sherman to assist me, we hurried to the tree and chopped it down.
Timber!
Naturally, it formed a wonderful dam, thus stopping the flow of water and exposing the creek bed, which was covered with large gold nuggets.
Darn, what rotten luck. The water's dried up and ruined the fishing. Nothing there now but a bunch of yellow rocks.
What color?
Yellow.
Yellow. You know, like gold?
Gold. Yeah, like gold. Yeah, it's gold. That's what it is. I discovered gold. Gold! Gold! I discovered gold!
Soon the cry of, "I've discovered gold," reached across the nation, bringing people by the thousands to seek their fortunes. They sought the gold in many ways, by placer mining, hydraulic mining, vegetable mining.
Vegetable mining?
Oh, yes, much gold was found in the numerous carrot gardens.
Golly, I've never heard of that.
Oh, come now, Sherman. Everybody's heard of 14-carat gold.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but at last report, things were in a dreadful state. The world had flipped sideways, Boris was about to make $1 billion racket out of the Santa Claus business, and our friends had been captured by some half-frozen natives who insisted on skinning Bullwinkle to make warm, woolly coats.
Just one question. Who packed these boxes of trading goods?
I packed them personally, Rocky,
Okay, open them up, Bullwinkle.
But, Rocky, those are hot weather items only. Trinkets, fans, dark glasses, bikinis.
But the good captain wasn't called Wrong Way Peach Fuzz for nothing, for those boxes packed for the tropics were full of
warm, woolly coats!
Hey!
Captain, your stupidity saved the day.
Oh, it was nothing that any Navy man couldn't have done.
Now we gotta find a way to straighten the world up.
But how?
Well, according to your theory, Professor, the world tilted over because the ice and snow got too heavy at the old North Pole.
Yeah?
Well, then all we have to do is make the ice and snow too heavy at the new North Pole.
Sure, Charlie, but how?
We could ask people to send it in.
Please, Bullwinkle.
No, he's right.
He is?
I am?
Sure, we'll do a big snow telethon.
And so the call went out all over the topsy-turvy television world.
Send your old ice and snow to the island of Ricky-Ticky, folks, and let's straighten up.
And fly right.
And people did just that. From the icebound shores of California to the snow-capped jungles of Tanganyika, people began to send ice and snow to Ricky-Ticky. By the train full, by the plane full, by the ship full, even by the tray full.
That's it, folks. Keep it coming.
One more snowstorm should do it, Rocky.
One more snowstorm, eh?
And before you could say Tusanella Werfenpickle, the plucky squirrel had grabbed a nearby sack of silver iodide crystals and was zooming through the air over the island.
Silver iodide crystals?
If you drop them into a cold cloud, it makes snow.
Oh!
Yes, Rocky was flashing through the frigid air above the island, seeding the clouds.
Hi-yo, silver iodide!
And everywhere that Rocky went, he left a curtain of white falling behind him.
Gentlemen, please take off your hat.
How come?
This is a solemn moment. We are witnessing the greatest snow job in history.
And it was true. The added weight of the snow began to tilt the island over more and more. And within a few hours, the world had flipped back to normal. And everybody was delighted with the change, except for one old gentleman who lay basking in the sun.
Oh, confound it. I knew they'd find a way sooner or later. All right, come on, boys. The vacation is over.
We're coming, Santa Claus!
Yes, the island of Ricky-Ticky suddenly swung back into the warm South Pacific again, and of course all that ice began to melt. The result was a fantastic flood in which two woebegone figures struggled.
Well, Boris, there goes the Santa Claus racket.
Well, easy come, easy go.
Boris, you're not unhappy?
Of course not. His first story where I wind up with something.
What?
This present the moose gave me when he thought I was Santa Claus.
He looks a lot like present you gave him, with bomb in it.
Nonsense. Would moose be stupid enough to give me back my own present?
Well...
On second thought, maybe I...
What were you going to say, Boris?
Only one thing, Natasha. Shut up your mouth!
Well, Anyway, Bullwinkle, we managed to give Santa Claus a well-earned vacation in the sun.
Yeah, I can hardly wait to see the old fella next time he gets here.
How come?
'Cause I'm dreaming of a tan Christmas.
Aren't we all? And also dreaming of our next episode of Rocky Squirrel and Bullwinkle Moose.